And I think that ghostwriters still have a very bright future. I look at, there are so many people, I'm sure you're aware of this, but there are a lot of apps and people online saying, write your book in one click.
Yes.
I completely disagree with that approach. I think it's the wrong approach. I don't know about you. I wouldn't want to read a book written by ChatGPT. I want to read about someone's personal experience. It's just not the same when it's a machine, and it might be fluid, but you can tell, slop is slop, and someone pouring
Exactly.
their life out on the page is someone pouring out on the life page, and we can tell.
I can spot it like this, and it's not
Mhm.
just the M
Right.
dashes, which I love M dashes, right? One of the things that drives me crazy, it has ruined M dashes. I still use them, and I always use them sparingly because they're not supposed to be overused, and that's one thing. And unfortunately, if you do use an M dash now the right way, sometimes people think you wrote the whole thing with ChatGPT. It's a little
Yes.
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's like we had one client, at this agency that said absolutely no M dashes, and I said to him, but it's a legitimate way to write. You just have to use them strategically. And anyway, so it's
Right.
crazy. Like people kind of went off the deep end, I think, to one extreme with certain things.
Absolutely, and
Think
it's really funny how, the AI companies, some of them have said, "Well, we've reduced our M dashes." So now it's like you'll be doubly penalized because when you use one, they'll be like, "Oh, AI," they might think that it's AI and AI is not doing that. So they might read AI and think it's human and read human and think it's AI. And it's like there's a lot of that sort of mismatch and weirdness happening. It's a really
yeah.
strange state of flux today in the writing world.
I want to talk about some more things in your book, AI Resilient, because one of the things you mentioned that I thought was really interesting was how humans have started describing things in terms of technology. Like, for example, I don't have the bandwidth for that. Can you talk
Right.
about that a little bit and why we should avoid that type of language?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, I almost want to say it's insidious. I don't want to say it's only negative, but sometimes we do sort of reduce ourselves to machines in some ways because we tend to think in terms of the things that surround us. So, some cultures like that are more nature based, they're going to think in terms of trees. They're going to think in terms of roots. They're going to think in terms of their environmental surroundings and rivers and confluence. And we are surrounded by technology. So we end up saying things like, I'm processing what you just said, or I don't have the bandwidth right now.
Yes.
Or, I've just had a download for an idea. It's
That's so
really
true.
interesting,
Yeah.
but it can limit us as well if we start thinking of ourselves as machines. I think we need to, especially in the AI world, we need to come back to like, what is specific to humans? What does it mean to have to think? How do you think intelligently? And I think this is actually a positive thing about AI, whether you're for it or against it. It's forcing us to grapple with this question of what is creativity, what is innovation, and what does set us apart from just a giant recombination mechanism that recognizes patterns. It's really a fascinating question.
Yeah, and you can really delve into some deep philosophy on that point. It's
Oh
funny.
yeah,
I recently interviewed Booker Scott, who has another book about AI, but it's in the broader sense, like not just the large language models. And we were talking about things that absolutely blew my mind, like rights for robots and AI. I can't even think about this, but AI becoming conscious, having its own consciousness, and then that led into because you just reminded me, like, well, what is consciousness? Is it the
right.
soul? What is it? Philosophers have been debating that for, gosh, forever. So it really, you're right though. It has gotten us to think about things like that.